All right, so I remember my library with this nice old lady at the desk. I think there was a couple of them, but they were always very helpful. I didn't read a lot of books, shameful enough to say, but I do remember the book sales when they happened because I would get all my erasers and pencils and little other thingamajiggers that I would probably never need, but I bought them all there.
What I remember about my elementary school library is that's where we had to go line up to get our vaccinations or our immunizations.
I went to St. Anthony's Elementary School in Manchester, and we had a library that was well stocked in nonfiction books, which was what I was interested in, particularly World War II books that I used to do a lot of reading of.
And the librarian at this school introduced me to the Little House books, Little House on the Prairie. And I think those books just saved me because I loved them, and they took me into another place until I could feel comfortable in my new school. And that was the very first time I started to love to read. And it was thanks to the librarian, because I was shy and alone. So books saved me.
When I grew up in elementary school, my favorite library experience was publishing a book. So we had parent volunteers who came in and they helped the students write a story. And then we got the chance to type up the story and put it into a book that we illustrated. The books were bound. And my favorite part I remember as a kid is that it was put on the shelf and other kids could check it out. Back when we had the old checking cards.
Our library was literally in the hallway. There were classes on this side and classes on this side. And then just in the middle of the hallway, there were just bookcases. There were no walls on it. And there was a couple carpets. And that was it. And so we had to have our doors closed all the time because the kids were at the library, but our classes were right there.
Went to Catholic school and I don't even remember having a school library.
At my school, I don't remember having a library at all. Did you go to the library? No, I don't even think we had one.
Did you have the bookmobile?
Yes!
Yes! We had the bookmobile too. That was the best Wednesday.
I also went to a Catholic school, and we didn't have a library in school, so we had to go to the public library, which was great. We had great resources there, but nothing in school.
So our library had risers that were covered in carpet with no seats, and then just rows of books.
No me gusto los libros.
This would have been in Columbus, Ohio in the 1960s, and my memories of my library as a kid growing up is that it was in the basement. It was dark, it was musty. I remember the shelves and stacks being really tall, maybe it's because I was small, and I remember the smell being kind of overpowering as much as all the books were there and being kind of overwhelmed by that. But I always went to one section. I always went to Beverly Cleary. And I just remember pulling the books down and not quite blowing the dust off the top of the books, but opening them up to see what was happening with Beezus and Ramona. And I have very fond memories of being there, even though that it was dark and dank and kind of musty. I kind of liked it. It was, in a sense, it was pretty cozy. So I'm really grateful that I had those experiences in our library.
There was another thing I just thought about. I want to say that I came to the library to read books, but no. I had a crush on a girl in 6th grade, and we had a library shelf just like this, and I used to watch her through here like this. I used to walk, and sometimes I even went low, but it was great until I got caught.